Hi, welcome to Ralph Knows Food. The trend today is to go toward comfort food. Everybody seems to have a desire to have some comfort food, and I can totally relate to that. And today, I'm not only going to teach you a comfort food recipe, but it's going to be done very simply, easily, because if it's not simple and it's not easy, you're probably not going to make it. So today, I'm going to show you the easy way to make white lasagna. That's right, white lasagna. First off, I'm starting out with chicken that I got from the grocery store pre-cooked. Now, one of my favorite places to go for that is Costco. Sam's Club has a very good one. But a lot of your neighborhood grocery stores will sell pre-cooked roasted chicken. And usually I think you'll find it's actually cheaper to buy it pre-seasoned, pre-cooked, already done, save you all that time, than going out and getting a chicken or chicken breast that you then have to season, cook, prepare before you even start the recipe. This is so simple. Get it, it's hot when you bring it home. It's easy to come off the bone while it's still warm. Put it in a bowl. You can store that in the refrigerator for a couple more days until you're ready to make the recipe. So simple. Next, I'm taking a jar of Alfredo sauce. We're going to save another step here. Instead of putting the sauces down and then the chicken down, I'm just going to put it all into the same bowl. And this is going to save us a step when we start layering. Let's get that all blended together. Now, another beauty of getting that whole roasted chicken is that you're getting the whole chicken. There's a lot of people out there, my wife included, and other members of my family, who like the dark meat of the chicken best. I tend to like the light meat better, but now you're getting it all. And dark meat tends to be a little bit more tender. Some people claim it's even a little bit more flavorful. I'm just kind of a white meat man myself. But there, that's simple. Didn't take hardly any time. And the shredding of it, it happens while you're taking it off the bone. I mean, it couldn't be much easier at that point. Now, we'll get to the layering that here in just a second. Now, this part, not necessary, but I'm going to be adding an egg to my ricotta cheese. And I'm making a little bit of a mess. I will sanitize that later because nobody likes salmonella. I'm going to be blending that egg up. You can use a whisk, you can use a fork. I did a review on this. It's by ODIFORGO. I'll put a link to it down below. And I love this thing. It's got 3 different attachments, and 2 of them I use virtually every day, including the whisk and another one that blends up things like protein powders and things like that. In that, I'm going to be putting my ricotta cheese. The egg just helps the ricotta cheese to hold up a little bit better, to kind of glue things together inside the lasagna. So it's nothing, magical. And like I say, you don't actually have to have it. It's not a requirement. So if you want to skip that step, feel free to do so. Now, something else you could do instead of the ricotta cheese, and something I've done in regular lasagna recipes, is get yourself a container of the large curd cottage cheese and substitute that for the ricotta. Oh, this is looking nice and fluffy. This is going to be easy when it comes down to layering this in. So we'll set that off to the side. I have pre-greased my baking dish, and I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees. So it's going to be going in there for about 40 to 50 minutes, but just wanted to give you a heads up. Preheat that to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, probably about 175 centigrade. I am going to be saving another step here. Here's a product, boy, I wish I knew about these sooner. It's called a no boil recipe for the noodles. You don't have to pre-boil these. You just use them as they are. So I don't know quite how they do that. They're not limp, but they do not require to be boiled. So we're gonna be putting those in, but before we do, like say, I've already pre-greased this, and I'm gonna be adding a little bit of the Alfredo sauce to the bottom. We don't want anything sticking to the bottom. So we're just gonna move that around, and that's all there is to that. Now, this is a little bit longer dish than my preferred dish. So as I put these in, I'm gonna have this little extra area at the bottom. So we're gonna have to do something with that. And I think what I'm gonna do with that is, I'm just gonna break a piece off. Now, I wanna go ahead and put in some of my chicken and Alfredo sauce. I can go ahead and put a good half of this in. Get that smoothed out. Now, if you want, you could also be doing a layer with like a spinach or maybe a mushroom in here. I'm just gonna stick with just the chicken. On top of that, I'm gonna put some dollops of the ricotta. Now, as this heats up, the ricotta is gonna melt, it's gonna move around. So I'm not too worried about having to get that placed too much. A little bit of mozzarella on top. Probably about a cup's worth. Get that spread out. More noodles. This time I'll put the short piece at that end. More of the chicken and Alfredo sauce. We're just putting the rest of it on here. Get that spread out. Spread more of this ricotta out. Now we're not going to need the ricotta for the top layer, so we can just go ahead and use the rest of this now. More noodles. I'm going to go ahead and overlap these. And on this, I've still got half a jar here left. This is from the one where I put the base down with a half a jar. Now I've got a half a jar to spread across the top. So I'll be putting down a couple more cups of cheese on here. So we're using a full 4 cups of cheese. On top of that, I'm just gonna put a little bit of the Parmesan, and I think we're ready to pop this in the oven. So we'll be back in about 40 to 50 minutes. Okay, I just pulled it out of the oven, and it's looking really good. Now I gotta tell you, a little trick that I heard about was, for about the last 5 minutes, you might put it on broil. So that's what I did, because I wanted it to get a little bit more color, because I didn't want it to look too plain. I gotta give you a heads up here. You do not want to put it in for the entire 5 minutes. Once you get to that stage where you put it on broil, you want to be watching it very closely. I only left it in for about an extra 3 minutes, maybe not even. And if I'd left it in for the entire 5, this whole thing would probably be black. So I got what I wanted. I got a little extra color. But if you do that, make sure you are watching it very attentively. You do not want to leave it in there, forget about it, come back 5 minutes later. Your project could very well be ruined. You don't need to do it under the broiler. Just possible heads up. Now, what you do want to do is you want to let it set for about 10 minutes because lasagna, any kind of lasagna, it firms up. You don't want to have, scoops of it and have it kind of pouring out, oozing out the sides. You want it to be a little bit firmer, which is why lasagna, any kind of lasagna, tends to actually be better the next day. I could take this, put it into the refrigerator, heat it up tomorrow for tomorrow's meal, and it might actually come out better than if I served it for dinner tonight. So keep that in mind, but you do want to let it set up for about 10 minutes. So we're going to do that. Going to come back in just a moment. Let's check this out. Time to cut into it. That's pretty gooey gooey. But you can see how even now, after waiting 10 minutes, it would probably be better if we came back tomorrow. Now it's still going to be very hot. That is very good. Big pieces of chicken in here. That cheese. Just so much of it. I like that little crunch. That kind of crisp cheese on top is giving. This is excellent, y'all. You really need to try this. You can see it was not hard to do at all. Went together very easily. So give this a try. I think you're gonna like it. So until next time, bye-bye.